It is the third and final event of the Liquid Telecoms Athletics Grand Prix taking place right here in Paarl, South Africa, and the lineup tonight is a star-studded one. Caster Semenya is in terrific form at the moment, and she has set her sights on the 1,500 meter South African record.
Semenya will be on the program a little bit later on. First up, though, it's the men's 400-meter hurdles. Both LJ van Zyl and Cornel Fredericks in the field, two stalwarts of South African 400-meter hurdle sprinting over the last almost decade or so, but there's a fine new crop having come up as well, including Leroux Hamann, who is in the field, and then the new South African champion, Lindsay Hanekom, who won in Pretoria last week. A fine run, 49.17, as 5 of the athletes went under 50 seconds. So a great win there by the 24-year-old. He is in this field as well. Wasn't the greatest day out for the two experienced South Africans. Cornel Fredericks finishing down in 4th place. It was still pretty quick, 49.76. And LJ van Zyl, even worse. He battled to dip under 49 or under 50, finishing in 50.84 seconds, down in 6th place for the experienced South African. Now, this event has been on the program since the first event in Johannesburg and then in Pretoria as well. We haven't seen a South African win the event, however. First up, Di Green from the United Kingdom. He won in Reimsig. And then a week later, it was Nicholas Bett of Kenya who had a fantastic win to take the victory in Pretoria in what was a sold-out crowd.
On your marks.
Great to see another sold-out stadium here in Paarl. And LJ van Zyl, he'll be looking to improve on his performances so far in the series. He was 2nd in Johannesburg and 3rd in Pretoria, while Leroux Hamann, he was 3rd in Joburg and then 2nd in Pretoria. Fredericks also looking for a good result after finishing 4th in Pretoria.
Set.
And they're off. A good start there in the middle lanes. It is Fredericks and van Zyl we're looking for, but don't rule out Leroux Hamann racing in the colours of Tuks outside of van Zyl. He's gone out very well, and haven't mentioned the South African champion, the new South African champion, Lindsay Hanekom. He has gone out really hard as well, and he is pushing in lane 3. Just to the inside of Fredericks. Fredericks and LJ van Zyl, you can see the experience that they have, having raced on the international circuit for so long. Very smooth rhythm, easy over the hurdles, and they both in contention here still. Fredericks and LJ looking to fall off a little bit, and it is Hanekom who has the take on Fredericks. They're going over the final hurdle together. Oh, and a little stumble there for Hanekom. He is out of the race, leaving Cornel Fredericks to come through. Finishing first was Leroux Hamann. He'll take 2nd place. LJ van Zyl drifting down there to finish in 3rd for the second time in the space of a week, failing to dip under 50 seconds for LJ van Zyl, but both Cornel Fredericks in that fine victory and Leroux Hamann coming through to finish in under 50 seconds. So a great result there for the 3 South Africans, all of them racing out of the University of Pretoria, as does Lindsay Hanekom. Tough to see him come out of the race. He was looking on fine form to match that 49.17 he set at the SA Champs last week. Confirmation of that time, Cornel Fredericks winning in 49.68 seconds. A great run for him as he looks for form ahead of the Commonwealth Games. In 4th place, it was Mozambique's Kurt Kuto.
LJ, 3rd place for you in this event. How did you feel like the race was out there for you?
Well, the race was tough. I didn't start too fast. And I tried to finish off stronger. I was leading on the moment, but the last 60-70 meters my wheels came off and I just held on for 3rd place.
How was your pre-season building up to these events? Still a long way to go in the season, but how do you currently feel as the body holding up?
Well, I did a few competitions the last 2-3 weeks. We had national champs, the other 2 Grand Prix races. Next up is Commonwealth Games. We're leaving in 10 days from now. I was hoping to be closer to a 48 seconds, but I'm not. But Oh well, I'm just going to race to Commonwealth Games and see how I can be there.
Just speaking about the Commonwealth Games, obviously, as you mentioned, only 10 days to go, not much you can change now, but how are you feeling and how mentally are you feeling heading into that?
Well, not too confident. As I said, I wish I was close to a 48, but in the past I went to competitions with a lot of confidence and I failed, so this time I'm just going to race the race.
Alja, you're a legend in South African athletics. You've achieved a lot after the Commonwealth Games. Where do you see yourself heading?
Yes, thank you. Hopefully to get into international competitions like the Diamond League, World Challenges in Europe, and to make some money, of course. And I just enjoy the sport, and it's not all about the money. I just enjoy running, and I'm just thankful to can still run at the age of 33 years.
Finally, some of the young guys coming through in South Africa, in Africa as well. Just your thoughts on in particular, your event on the continent at the moment.
Well, the 400 hurdles is always one of the top events, even their top event in South Africa. And it's a great tradition from the Gert Potgieter, Llewellyn Herbert, Myrtle Botma. Name them, there's always a new kid on the block, and I love the sport, and that's why I enjoy it.
Congratulations, second place. How do you feel after the race?
I'm happy, quite happy. It was a difficult race. The wind is swirling a lot, so just have to tackle it the way it comes. But it was quite nice.
And how have your preparations been in the pre-season and building up to these events?
Preparations is very good. I'm still looking forward to running faster times. I just have to keep at it and see when it comes.
Cornel Fredericks, obviously a great competitor as well.
Yeah, I know for sure. He's one of the legends of South African 400 hurdles. So yeah, I know it's really an honor to run against guys like him.
Cornel, congratulations. A great win for you. How do you feel after the race?
Well, I'm happy with the win. It wasn't easy going into the race, but I came first at the national championships on the weekend, and for me, just a confidence boost after today.
Your time it looked like just under 50 seconds. I'm not sure what. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm consistent under 50 seconds, so it's still a long season, and hopefully I can improve on the times coming Europe season.
Over the last three, in particular the Grand Prix series, how have you felt, and have you felt they're just getting more comfortable as the season continues?
Well, at the moment, it's not. I can't get too comfortable where I am, because as you see now over the weekend, Lindsay Hanekom and the young boy Shocks, they're hungry boys, so we always have to be on our toes to be in good shape all the time.
And where you are in the season at the moment, still, as you mentioned, a long season ahead, how do you feel? How does this body feeling, and what's coming up the rest of the season for you?
Well, for now, I'm done with the South African season. I think for me, it's all about that steady comeback and try to keep my body healthy as possible now.
Paarl, you've achieved so much in your career so far. What's next, and what are some of the big goals that you still want to go for?
Well, obviously, Olympic Games in 2 years' time, and definitely next year the World Championships in Qatar. So it's 2 big years for me, and if I can fix all the injuries this year, I'll be happy.
Talking about injuries, Anaso Jobodwana going off in the 200. A disastrous couple of years it's been, but he's looking back. He's won 2 events in the series already. In Reemsuk, he won the 200 in a great battle with Clarence Munai. And then the 150 meters at Tuks, where he took on Justin Gatlin and won that race. Can he take another victory here? Clarence Munai, he won't be racing, but he did set a South African record just a short while ago. Last weekend, indeed, at the South African Championships, 19.69. An incredible run it was, beating the record held by Wade Finnekirk, and it is setting him in good stead. He didn't go on to race the final. That final victory went to Luxola Adams, and he is up against Anaso Jobodwana in this race.
Set.
And they're off. Jobodwana going hard, but look out for Adams. He's in some great form. He dropped his personal best to 20.08 in that victory at the SA Champs, and it is Anaso Jobodwana taking it around the bend. He does guard forward, but looks Ola Adams, he's in this as well. Anaso coming off his shoulder and looking just to pip him to the line, but Adams is holding, and it looks like Adams has taken it. What a run there from Luxado Adams. He really has come into his own over the last couple of weeks. He set a personal best of 20.45 and then recently brought that down to his 20.08 last week, becoming the South African champion, and now 20.01. Not only is he the champion here of the third edition of the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series, but he is also now a fantastic winner, having beaten Anaso Jabodwana, of course a man who has a World Championship bronze medal over this distance. So remember Adams, he looks like a great talent, one of many sprinting talents to come out from across South Africa at the moment. Some great things being done within their sprinting program. Both men have been doing well throughout the series as they had that great run. Adams finishing third in Johannesburg when Jabodwana won ahead of Munai.
And also a good run from you, second place, probably not the result that you wanted, but how did the race feel?
The race felt good until the last 50, I think. So the main aim of this race was to actually really go for it and see where I'm going to fall short, and obviously now I found out where I fall short. But it's really exciting to lose with a 19.7 on our home ground in South Africa. So I really enjoyed the race. And I'm really happy to see where I need to work on to get better and to hopefully surpass these guys. So, yeah, I can't complain.
Earlier in the season, obviously a great achievement to beat Gatlin, and that must have been a great confidence booster. Where do you see yourself at the moment in terms of the early stages of the season?
I see myself in a very good space. You can't win championships in March except for, obviously, Commonwealth Games in April. So, I mean, for where I was at last season and to where I'm at right now, I'm not really disappointed with that. I still believe that I'm going to get a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. So we just keep on working. You win some, you lose some. So today was just one of those days, and we just move forward.
Let's talk a little bit about this Grand Prix series. It's a great opportunity for you to test yourself against some of the best in South Africa, and it's great to get people excited about athletics again.
Yeah. All three of them have been very exciting. First one, Clarence, who went on to break the South African record in 1969. Gatlin came out, filled out the crowd, and people were buzzing about it for a very long time. And obviously, you see here today is full. And again, great performance. So I'm really excited about where it's going to go in the future. And I'm really excited to be here and watch the South African crowd come out to support South African athletics. So it's going to be a very interesting future for us.
Firstly, Lux, congratulations, a great race for you. How did it feel out there?
Thank you, man. It felt good, but I knew that I was running with Anaso, so I had to bring my A race. So it was quite exciting, yes.
And how does it feel to get the better of him?
I feel I'm still excited. I don't know what more I can do, so I'm still excited, yes.
And the build-up to this race, did it feel any different to previous races that you were able to bring your A game today?
Yes, it felt. I felt one on the last 50 meters because Anaso has got high strides and I've got low strides, so I had to push more than him.
And we're in the season now, still quite early in the season. How do you feel your body feels just going into the rest of the season, and what's coming up for you?
My body is responding quite well to the program, so I'm positive about it. I'm also positive about the upcoming races, so I'm looking forward. At the moment, I've got no problem.
Tell us a little bit about your background and to what actually brought you to this place where you are able to win the 200 meter and beat Anaso in such a big event.
First of all, I was raised by a single parent. So my mother, she has always been there in some races. So she's the motivation behind. So for me to run. So now I've got to prove that I've got this talent and I must show her what I can do to make her proud.
And what do you still want to achieve in the rest of your athletics career? What are some of the big goals that you are going to aspire to achieve?
Obviously, there's Olympics, there's World Champs, Diamond Leagues. But at this stage, I think I can go run Diamond Leagues and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then finally, it's a great opportunity to run the Athletics Grand Prix Series and for the races to be broadcast as well.
Yeah, thanks to the Athletics Grand Prix and also the ASA for this exposure. It's really good for us as young athletes to be exposed in such competitions here.
Men's events dominating the early proceedings here in Paarl, and one of the iconic events. It's not a prize event, it's not an event that you can compete at a World Champs or Olympics anymore, but the mile has a fantastic history and a great set of South African athletes here looking to break that 4-minute mile barrier. Of course, the late, great Roger Bannister becoming the first man to do so, and he did that back in 1954 on the 6th of May, and it is iconic, sadly passing away in the past month, and he is an icon. He remains an icon for world athletics, and such a mark. People said it was near impossible to break the mile. Now that world record of El Garouge is sitting at 3 minutes 43.13 seconds for the mile. Who would have believed? They're off here, they're going very well. Men to look out for in this field include Ramatso Mokopane. He is the South African steeplechase champion. A fine athlete he is over the 3,000 meter steeplechase, recently defending his South African title, and look out for him to have a good race here. He's won that South African title in the 3,000 meter steeplechase on 4 occasions, including the last 3. So he is a fine athlete and one to look out for. He'll be looking to victory or have a victory in this race, but coming along now on the outside, sitting in about 5th place, or battling for 5th place in the colours of Tembisa Running Club. Been a fantastic athlete throughout this series, has the youngster Ryan Mpalele. He's raced in Joburg, Pretoria, and now down in Paarl in the Western Cape, and over 3 different distances. So great to see him pushing and giving it a go here to try medal in this event. But can he keep up with some of the faster men? He raced in the 1500, finishing 3rd in Johannesburg. He was 2nd in the 3000 in Pretoria, and now as he is looking at just holding back a little bit to try and keep up here with the men at the lead here in the mile. Can they go under that 4-minute barrier? Well, it is more common these days. It is not something that happens in every single race that we do see. George Kushki's also in this race. He's had a fantastic run of events as well, and a lot of these athletes have really lit up some great performances at the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix meets over the last couple of weeks. So working hard here early on as we go through. Dumasani, he is looking to push on, but dropping back a little bit as they look to take things up and move on the pace to take this victory in the mile here in Paarl. Ryan Mpalele, he's coming a little bit on the outside, still sitting in about that 5th position, and will he have a late attack here on the victory? And also Renato Mokopane, he is going to look to take out the victory, half the distance nearly of his 3,000 meter steeplechase title he won, but he's got some serious speed in his legs throughout the middle distances. The mile is definitely a really grueling event and a great pack here. No one been able to quite break things off and set out ahead. Jerry Mutsa from Box Athletics Club, he has been taking up the pace for most of this race. He'll look to hold things off here and hold off the field, but they're all happy as we approach the bell to let him take up the pacing into the final lap. It's make or break time here as they take the final back bend, and the athletes starting to look to position themselves to get into the right position to mount a challenge here and take the victory. Here comes Ryan Mpalele. He is making a move on the outside, quite a lot shorter than most of these athletes, but he can run. He's shown us throughout the series, pushing hard here now as he works his way to the front. He's not going to have it all his own way. They are chasing him, pushing him hard at the moment here. Is Romanso Mokopane. He's not going to let Mpalele have this on his own. Looks to be getting the advantage here as they come round the final bed. Mpalele tiring a bit here in the 1500. Coming on the fast on the outside's name, there is George Kush. And he is finishing very hard. Can he take the victory? He's going to dip to the line, and George Kush falls over and just manages to miss out on the victory. A fine win there from Renato Mokopane, the 4-time South African 3,000 meter steeplechase champion. He held back, was there near the front, and made his move really in the final lap, as did Ryan Mpalele, but just didn't have enough to finish it off, finishing in third. But that is a third podium for Ryan Mpalele in this series. What a result, but it is the steeplechase champion, Mokopane, who takes the win. Time for the women to come to the fore, and what an event. Caster Semenya, the double Olympic champion, lined up against South Africa's Dom Scott, who does base herself in the United States of America. Not a 1500 meter athlete by trade. She races there, but her stronger distances coming in the 5 and the 10,000 meter. The record, the South African record, stands at 4:01.81, set by Zolabud way back in 1984. That's a 34-year-old record. Caster Semenya has said she's coming out here to try and beat that record, and what an achievement it would be. Caster had a phenomenal run. They raced not a traditional distance, 1,000 meters at the last event in Pretoria, and she smashed the South African record. Going out hard here, only Dom Scott of the athletes prepared to take up that pace with her. You could call this a bit of a catch distance, but will definitely favour the 800 meter specialist Caster Semenya, or should have the speed here. Dom Scott will give it her all, but this already a 2-horse race, and Caster Semenya taking out the pace so smooth. She has such an amazing rhythm to her running, and often just wears down her opponents without having to increase the tempo. She did take the 1500 title at the South African Champs last week to back up her victory in the 800. That was a 4:10.68, so she'll be looking to go a lot faster if she wants to dip under and get close to that South African record held by Zolabud. 34 years. Can Caster Semenya break it here in Paarl? It's a little bit dry, it's a little bit hot, and it's a little bit windy, but if anyone can do it on this occasion, it is going to be the iconic South African middle distance athlete, Caster Semenya. The world record a little bit further off and going to be very tough to beat at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Genezise Dababa of Ethiopia. That is a sensational run and record that she does hold. Caster has just recently stepped up to the 1500, having raced more as an 800 athlete, and expect great things from her. She'll be heading to the Commonwealth Games, hopefully looking to win both titles, and who knows, backing up with a World Championship and potentially more Olympic success come Tokyo 2020. Right now it remains Dom Scott running just behind Caster Semenya. Scott came out and won the 5,000 meters at the South African Championships last weekend in Pretoria, and we'll be heading back to the States soon. But always great to have South Africa's best athletes racing right here on the African continent. Of course, we've had African athletes across all the disciplines, but with a bit of a delay, a 2-week delay between event 2 and 3 of the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix series, then a lot of them have moved on and continued their Commonwealth Games preparation elsewhere. So a very strong South African field here, and it's been 4 weeks of racing for many of these South African athletes, with the 3 Liquid Telecom meets and of course the SA Champs. Scott holding in there, but you know that Caster has another gear. Can she do this? She's there and thereabouts her time. Can she do it and dip under possibly 4 minutes and break the South African record? She just needs to dip under that 4:01 to do so, and she is very, very close at this stage as she looks to break the record. We have the bell lap, and what does she need to do to take this record away from the another great iconic South African athlete in Zolabud? So she's going to have to run the last 300 odd here now as we take the final back bend, and taking an extra step for sure. Dom Scott now failing to be able to keep up with the kick of Caster Semenya. She knows she's close. Can she do this? Looking to be about a second off that record as we approach the final 200 meters of this event. 4:01.80. Can it be broken? Caster is going to give it her all. It's amazing. It really is really early in her season, and she's been running fast times, phenomenally fast times, has the South African champion. The crowd are on their feet. They're willing her on to another record, as Pretoria saw her do in the 1,000 just 2 weeks ago. Caster Semenya pushing hard. She is going for it. She is looking to break the South African record. Going to be very close here, but it looks like she has just missed the record. And very close, great effort. 4:02.51 it looks like for Caster Semenya. So as close as she could get. Dom Scott pushing all the way there, and great to have her running 1,500 meters as well here on her home continent, in her own province, a Cape Town girl, born and raised. But the plaudits go to Caster Semenya, another victory. She's now won the 1,500 to back up her 1,000 win in the first event. Caster Semenya, you champion.
Dom, second place, you look pretty good out there. How did it feel on the track?
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It was great. It was such a fun evening. You know, I don't get many opportunities to race at home now that I'm based in the States. But what a perfect evening out here in Paarl. You know, a little bit of wind, but I think the crowd made up for it. Just a great evening to be out here racing with Caster, with my SA teammate. Very happy.
With the actual race, as I said, you were neck and neck with Caster right up until the last stretch. How do you prepare yourself mentally for someone like that who likes Caster, who can just pull away towards the end?
Yeah, you know, I think everyone knows, it's no secret anymore that Caster has a mean kick, and that's her weapon. You know, my weapon is more like the stamina, and I think that's because she's an 800-meter runner and I'm a 5K runner. So I knew I just need to try and stick with her as long as possible. I knew she would have a good last 400, and that if I just ran still a strong pace, that I would hopefully run a decent time. I have no idea what my time was, hoping it was a PB, but we'll still have to wait to see what the official time is.
You mentioned racing here in Paarl in front of your home fans over here. What does an event like this actually do for athletics in South Africa, for the people to get excited about athletics?
It's huge. It really is big. You know, we have such amazing athletes here in South Africa, but we're always having to go overseas to find the competition, to have the competition. And, you know, to be able to do it here in our backyard, to be able to sleep in our bed the night before, to have our family and the crowds cheering us on, it's so special. Not only for us athletes, but I think the upcoming youth. I think it shows them, you know, the sport of track and field, and it shows them what they could maybe, you know, aspire to be like, give them some idols. So I think this is amazing for athletics in South Africa.
Finally, what's coming up next for you? You said you're based in the States now, so what events are you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so I wasn't put on the Commonwealth Games team. It was a letdown, but you know, I've turned the page and I'm excited to get back to training and then reopen up my outdoor season later in May at the Boston Boost Games on the 19th of May, I think it is. So yes, I'll be heading back to the States on Saturday. I haven't seen the husband for about a month, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. And yeah, back to training for a little bit.
A great race, a great win for you. How did it feel out there?
No, it was a pretty good race. It was awesome, you know, with the crowd. It was just fantastic, you know. It was just all about, you know, entertaining our people. Unfortunately, I couldn't see the clock. I don't know what was happening, but we're happy that we entertain our people.
A little bit disappointing, as you mentioned there, with the record. Is that a bit of a setback for you going into the Commonwealth Games?
No. I'm not disappointed at all. Obviously, I was not focused on breaking a record. I just wanted to have a good race. So, obviously, you know, towards the Commonwealth, that was the preparation for Commonwealth. So, I'm quite happy with how the season went. You know, we've done well, so we're ready for Commonwealth.
Comparing to maybe the previous Olympics, now heading into another big event, how are you feeling physically and mentally going into the Commonwealth Games? I
think we feel pretty strong. We're more matured. We know how to race. We know how to place ourselves. We know how to hold, and we know how to execute. So we're happy. I think we're ready.
Looking at the Commonwealth Games, gold is obviously a goal of yours, perhaps a world record as well. What are you hoping to achieve from the Commonwealth Games?
Obviously, the main thing is to run a good championship. That's our main ultimate goal, actually. So running a good championship is the most important thing. So for now, we just focus on getting to the Commonwealth, you know, getting through rounds and semis and see what's going to happen in the final. But obviously, the main goal is to win gold medal. So, yeah.
This series has been absolutely great, taking athletics back to the people, and as we can all see, you are very loved over here. What does that do for you, just to see people getting excited and watching you racing?
For us, it fulfills us because, if you can be able to give back to your fans, that's sports. It unites us with our people. We speak to our fans, through performance. So for us, getting here, being able to deliver, we working out out of here, we feel fulfilled. So we're quite happy.
The men's 110-meter hurdles up next. 2 to look out for: Antoni Akana in lane 5 and Ruan de Vries in lane 4.
On your marks.
A fast and frenetic race is the 110-meter hurdles. Antoni Akana has that phenomenal South African record, sitting at 13.11. What an effort it was for him to break in the June last year. So he'll be looking to back up that year. He is, of course, also the African champion, and he is currently the South African champion, having defended that title last weekend. 13.11 going to be tough to beat, but expect a fine run here from Alkani. And he comes out flying. Ruan de Vries is just left on the line, and he has a really strong running style. He'll look to come back at him, but this is all about one man. What a finish here, and what a run. It's not going to beat his South African and African record, but a fine time nonetheless there. 13.39 for Antoni Akana, and this man is only going to go from strength to strength, one thinks. He's got the Commonwealth Games coming up soon. Can he be crowned the Commonwealth champion? It's going to be very tough, but I hope to get into the final at least. But really had won that race from well before the first hurdle, straight out of the starting blocks. Incredible speed and such a fluent hurdling style makes it very hard for anyone to stay in this race. Nothing wrong with Ruan de Vries's hurdling. Shows you how good Alkana is. Alkana, a quality athlete, and another win for the man who has taken Sean Bowles' title as South Africa's star 110-meter hurdler.
Antonio, firstly, congratulations on a great win for you. How did it feel out there?
Oh, thank you. It was a good race. Technically, I felt good. So yeah, I executed the race well.
It looked pretty comfortable in the end, time-wise. How are you feeling at the moment about that?
I don't know what the time was because the clock didn't stop, but I'm hoping it's faster than I did at National Champs.
And at the moment, you're still pretty early in the season. How are you feeling? As I said, it looked pretty easy out there, but looking at the rest of the season, how's the body holding up?
It is a bit early, but we need to be on shape because Commonwealth Games is next month. So we can't really say it's early. I want to make the final, and hopefully I can get the medal.
So what is the next couple of days going to look like for you heading into the Commonwealth Games?
Just hard training and sharpening up. That's it.
What do you think you can still sharpen up over the next few weeks?
I think it's the prize laying. So I can't predict, but it's going to be faster than last year.
And then just looking at the Commonwealth Games, obviously some tough competition over there, but mentally, how do you prepare yourself for a big event like that?
Just stay focused on my lane, do what I have to do, can't focus on the competition, even though I know they're good, but I must just focus on myself.
Another event where South Africa has had much success in the past is the men's 800 meters. Look out for the South African champion Tsepo Tshete, as well as Reinhard Janssen van Rensburg and Jabulani Nkamane. They are the three form runners in this field, having placed 1, 2 and 3 at the SA Champs last weekend. The South African record still held by Hesekiel Sepeng. His fine effort of 1 minute and 42.69 seconds set back in 1999. Can that be broken? Well, we seriously doubt that, but we do expect a fast time with some quality 800-meter athletes. Van Rensburg has raced in the series. He was second in Pretoria with Jabulani Nkamane finishing in third place there, running a 1:47.62 and a 1:47.76 respectively. We expect them to go a bit faster here tonight. That winning time a week ago at the SA Champs for Tsepotsite, he won that in 1:46.06, so they've gone a lot quicker since. How will they take it up? At the moment, it is the pace being made by Tinas Ehlers. He races for Gauteng North, or out of the Gauteng North province. Very strong, of course. Tukki's based there, and a lot of these athletes coming. He's pushing this pace hard, but he won't be expected to hold off the pedigreed athletes coming behind him. 800, a very interesting race. Some athletes go out hard and try hold them off, and others love to finish hard. Ezekiel Sapeng, he was one of them, came round right at the end to take his victories when he found himself in really good positions. But it has been a great first lap here by Tians Ehlers, and he is looking to tire now as the pace will be taken up here on the back straight and pushing hard. Van Rensburg there sitting in fourth, about to come in third, and is the three men we expected to challenge for the victory. It is going to come from the group. Here comes Van Rensburg. He has left his dip late, and he's the one who has held out enough energy to take the victory. So Reinhard van Rensburg, he takes the win. Second place goes to Tsepotsite, the South African champ, and the third and the podium spot on the podium going to Jabulani Nkamani. A 1:46.15 for van Rensburg, so he couldn't get the job done last week in capturing the South African title, but he is now the winner in the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series. Fine win there from the man who has raced in an Olympic Games semi-final.
And your marks.
The women's 400-meter final up next. All eyes on Justine Pelfreman. She's coming off having taken the 200 and 400 title at the South African Championships, and she is phenomenally fast over both those distances. Not much competition in this field. Interesting to see Gina Lofstrand racing. She has raced 800 and 1,000 in the series, but now pushing in the 400 meter. But it is Pelfreman who takes it out hard. She is a phenomenal athlete. She's also raced 3 times now in the series. In Johannesburg, she raced at this distance, finishing third. But she really has run into her own over the last couple of weeks. She won the 200 in 23:32 in Pretoria before that double South African title victory, and it is a one-woman race. Lofstrand pushing hard there to try get onto the podium, but doesn't have the kind of speed that Pelfreman does, running out of the University of Stellenbosch. She is an incredible sprinter and one of the best that South Africa has seen over the shorter distances in recent years. Great versatility she does have to put in strong 200 and 400 runs, and there's another one, 52.63, well ahead of the rest of the field. It looks like she took it by more than 2 seconds from Gina Lofstrand, and Jean-Marie Senegal coming through to take third place. So Justine Pelfreman, the youngster whose father's a former international cricket player, just seems to go from strength to strength in her sprinting pedigree. Two wins now in the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series, as well as that third place in the 400 at Reinsburg. So some great running from her. She's really utilized this series and last couple of weeks in South Africa to build up some great form. Look out for her to have a great season going forward towards the European campaign. Pelfreman is 24, having turned 24 on the 4th of November last year. So still some plenty to come from her in her career. She's had some great success at the University Games over the years. She was crowned the 400 champion in 2015, and then she finished second in 2017 in Taipei. So some great results there from her, and expect her to go from strength to strength. Completely dominated the field here in Paarl.
Gina, good result for you, podium finish. Absolutely perfect night here in Paarl. How did it feel out on the track?
It felt fast, obviously, because it's a 400 and I'm used to doing 8s now, but it was lots of fun and there's lots of support and I really enjoyed it.
Let's talk a little bit about this Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series. It's a great way for the athletes to show their skills, but also great for the fans to come up close with the athletes as well.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most well-organized events that I've ever been to in my athletics career in South Africa. I think it's a great thing and I really can't wait for next year.
You've already achieved quite a bit in your athletics career. What do you still want to achieve?
Oh, there's still so much more that I want to do. I feel like I'm only at the beginning. Obviously, Olympics in 2020 is something that I have my sights set on, and that's what I'll be working towards.
And what do you still need to continue working on to actually reach that goal of going to the Olympics?
Well, obviously get my time down. So my PB now is a 2:01, and I have to get that below 2 minutes, and hopefully from once I break the 2, I could even get it lower and lower.
You know, it's still pretty early in the season, but you've already raced quite a bit. How's the body holding up, and what do you still want to achieve in this upcoming season?
It is still early in the season. I feel like I need more races to really reach my peak. I still feel like I'm kind of coming off of an off season where you just need to race to get faster. I still feel like there's a lot more I could do this season.
Justine, firstly, a great result for you. It's been a great series for you. Great conditions here in Paarl as well. How did it feel out on the track?
I know, it was very exciting. I think after essays it was hard to get ourselves motivated and get up to it, but I came out here, I did my best, and I'm really happy with it.
This Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series is a great way for the athletes to show their skills. What has this series meant to you?
It's meant a lot, not only I think for us to come show our skills, but to get people to come watch us and to support us. The crowds are full. It was the same at Tux, it was the same at Dream, so it's been amazing for us to actually run against such a inspiring crowd, yeah.
It must be really exciting to see the excitement about athletics growing in South Africa. Obviously, Wade and Custer have done a lot, but it's also about getting the next generation as well.
Yeah, I know, they have done, and we can see already younger athletes are stepping up, they're coming through, they're running such great times. It's only going to get better.
From 400 to 100 meters. Karina Horn, the one to look out for here in this field. She's coming off setting the South African record when she won the 100 meters at the SA Champs just a week ago. She took her PB down from 11:06 to 11:03. Phenomenal form is the South African sprinter.
Ladies, on your marks.
Who could challenge her here is Tamsin Thomas, the youngster, in lane 3. Also look out for Cassidy Williamson in lane 4. But Karina Horn really is the standout runner. There's confirmation, 11:03 set in Pretoria just a week ago. And can she win here? The 100 meters in the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix series in Paarl.
Set.
And they're off. Karina Horn immediately pulling away on her inside. It is Cassidy Williamson, and coming through is Tamsin Thomas, but it's Karina Horn now pulling away. What fantastic strides there by the South African champion. She is phenomenally powerful. Still second at the African Championships last year in Durban over the 100 meters, and she really is fast considering how many fine sprinters we have on the African continent coming from the likes of Ivory Coast and Nigeria. Great to see Horn running so long, so strong, and she takes the victory there from Cassidy Williamson and Tamsin Thomas. Tamsin Thomas, a great prospect for South African female sprinting. She's had a great series as well. She finished down in 3rd in the 100 in Joburg, running it in 11:64, and then in 5th place in the 200 in Pretoria before the SA Championships, and she will be very pleased with another great run here. She did finish strong, taking Cassidy Williams, but Horn was already away. What a fantastic run. Horn is going to be tough to beat if she goes and races on the international calendar, or she'll be tough to beat over some of the events, and really looks to be very close to dipping under that time of 11 minutes, which for a female sprinter is phenomenally fast, equivalent of the men running under 10 seconds. Just puts it into perspective what kind of victory that was for the South African sprinter Karina Horn.
Karina, great run for you. Firstly, just tell us a little bit about the conditions and how did it feel out there?
Yeah, it was a bit a tight race. I didn't feel that flexible, but it was a good run, so I'm happy with that.
And last weekend, obviously a big weekend for you in terms of your career as well. And what's still coming up for you next in over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's getting back into training. I haven't been training for the 100 meters. I was in for indoors. So hopefully next week I'll get back into training for 2 months around to get into the 100 meters.
Still quite early in the season. What's coming up for you later on in the season?
Yeah, hopefully the first Diamond League will be in Doha, 4th of May. So I'll be working towards that.
So let's talk a little bit about this Grand Prix series. It's great to take athletics to the people again, and we can see here tonight there's a lot of excitement in Paarl and have been at the other events as well. Must be great for athletics in South Africa.
Definitely, yeah. The crowd has been amazing. It's good to see athletics coming up again in South Africa. It makes it better and nice to run in South Africa again.
The Blue Ribbon event, the men's 100 meters, and what a field this is. Akani Simbine, he's there. Simon Makakwe, Enrico Brankes. It really is as good as South African sprinters get. There are far more, but they're the three to look out for in the middle lanes here. Makakwe coming off his 7th South African Championships win last weekend in Pretoria. Simbine sadly having to pull out with a stiff hamstring. He wasn't able to race the final. And Nasa Jobadwana was another one competing in the 100 who also missed the final. So it was Makakwe who took the win in 10:07. It was very fast. Of course, he is a legend in South African sprinting. The first South African to dip under 10 seconds. And the man who followed him in achieving that, Enrico Brankes, is also in this field. Simbiani, though, is the South African record holder at 9.89. Fast start here. Brankes going out really hard, but Simbine getting very quickly into his stride. Makakwe is trying to chase him down and stay on his shoulder, but just cruising away and taking the victory is Akani Simbine. He is a phenomenal sprinter. He is an Olympic finalist. He is a World Championship finalist, and many people south of the Limpopo are hoping that he will one day be an Olympic champion. Tokyo 2020, a big goal. There's a World Championship before that. Even before that, there's a Commonwealth Games. So 3 quality sprinters in the middle of this field, but Simbine making the others look average as he takes the win in 10.03. Makakwe second in 10.24 and in 10.27 Brankes. What a run it was there. Not quite as fast for Simbine as his time that he put in Pretoria, where he ran 10.05.
Enrico, a brilliant night here in Paarl, a great opportunity for some of the locals to come and see the legends like you in action. How did it feel out on the track?
Yeah, the atmosphere was very electric. Like, it was amazing. I haven't had a crowd like this in a while, and especially to come back home and compete at home. It was amazing to compete here.
There was a lot of talk building up to this event about your deal with Akani Simbine, and how did that feel going up in the preparations for this event?
No, it's good. I'm still preparing for Commonwealth Games, so in the space of 2-3 weeks we will be up at Commonwealth against other, and hopefully we can battle out for gold medal.
So is that your goal going into Commonwealth Games? What would you like to get out of the Games in Australia?
No, I definitely want to go out to Commonwealth Games, give my best performance, make the final, and then from there take it on.
Now, this Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series has been absolutely great to get the people excited about athletics again, and also to get some of the youngsters to show their talents as well. What has the series meant to you?
No, it means a lot to see that we actually the guys that bring the, how can I say, that encouraging the sponsors to get on board, because they see the electrics alive again.
And finally, obviously Commonwealth Games is a massive event. What are the next few days going to look like for you just in the build up to that?
No, actually after National Champs I wanted to relax a bit, but then I confirmed already for this meet, so I just had to do the meet to come out here and give the fans what they want. So from here on we're just going to build up, try to fix a couple of things, and then take it from there.
Akani, firstly, we need to ask you about that hamstring. How did it feel, and how's the injury looking?
I'm pretty healthy, last week's withdrawal was just precaution and just playing it safe. I'm happy that I'm out here running and I'm running healthy and everything is looking good.
It looked really good out on the track as well. How did you feel racing again, and how do you feel with your performance today?
I'm pretty happy, as I said before, I'm happy to be running, I'm happy to be racing, and I'm happy to be healthy. And for me, it's really great that I can come out here and compete and compete in front of the South African fans.
We need to talk about this this Grand Prix series that's sponsored by Liquid Telecom. It's been great for the people to come out and to come and watch the legends like you in action. What has it meant to the athletes to be able to perform in front of the home fans?
For the athletes, it's been amazing. We get to compete at a high level of competition, and this is what we have overseas and we have on the circuit. And for me personally, I feel like it's a great initiative, and I'm looking forward to next year and how big it can grow, bigger than this. And just a big thank you to the supporters for coming out and supporting athletics and just coming out to the stadiums and watching us. This excites us, and it makes us want to run in South Africa, and it gives athletics another leg to stand on in South African sports.
Athletics in South Africa and in Africa, it seems to be doing really well at the moment. What can be done to take it to the next level?
I think it's just us running, and competing and getting the fans out to the stadiums and getting them to watch us perform and just giving the fans, high standard performances.
This year, it's a big year, Commonwealth Games. What are you hoping to do over the next couple of weeks, and also looking at the rest of the season as well?
For me, it's to just keep getting better as an athlete and making sure that, I do South Africa proud and I do myself proud and achieve the goals that I've set for myself.
And then looking a little bit further, obviously 2020 Tokyo Olympics is also coming up. Have you got one eye set on that? And you said you just want to keep getting better. What is the plan going forward, and what are some of the goals that you still want to achieve?
Tokyo 2020 will always be a greater goal and a bigger goal. For me, it's an opportunity for me to actually go there and represent South Africa well, and be the first South African to win a medal at 100 meters in the Olympics. So I'm pretty excited, and just building on to the season and the next coming years is just to keep getting better as an athlete and handling myself better on the track, and just dominating as much as I can.
Obviously, athletes like yourself, you've kind of already made it on the South African scene, but it must be exciting for you to see some of the youngsters coming through and just to see how much talent there is in South Africa.
Yeah, definitely. It's exciting to see lots of young kids running. It makes us senior athletes want to make sure that we stay on top and not get beaten by the younger athletes. And it's exciting for South Africa and South African sports and athletics for Africa and South Africa, and more fans are going to come out and watch us. More fans are going to support us and back us.
Finally, obviously Kwese Sports has gotten involved and they're broadcasting this all over Africa. It must be great to get some exposure on the continent as well.
Yeah, definitely. We as Africans, I can't just say South Africa, we as Africans are running for our continent when we go to other continents, and I'm really, proud to be an ambassador of Africa and not just South Africa as well. It's really great to be able to showcase what we are doing here, and to just, get it to the South African crowd and the African crowd, and making sure that, Africa sees us and Africa wants to come and compete at this place.
As I cross the finish line here in Paarl, so also the Liquid Telecom Athletics Grand Prix Series comes to an end. And what an event it has been. 3 world-class nights of athletics. We've seen records being broken, we've seen youngsters come through the ranks, but most importantly, we've seen how much talent there is on the African continent. So from myself, Johan Leroux, and the rest of the Kwese Sports team, it's good night for now.